山本選手、今永選手の投げ合いから始まり、大谷選手が打ちと素晴らしい試合でしたね。本日は2安打放った大谷選手に対し、アメリカのネット番組が称賛をしていましたので、そちらの動画をご覧ください。
You had a couple of hits and a couple of runs.
Nice,
Dodgers are really good. Okay, let's just start with this. The Dodgers beat the Cubs. They're obviously not going to go 162-0, but 159-3 is on the table. This is a really good team. The minute the Cubs went to the bullpen, it's not going to work. No Mookie Betts, no Freddie Freeman, late scratch, no problem. But watching a Dodger game with Ohtani reminds me of when Tiger started taking over golf. And whenever there was a lull in the action, the director would just say, all right, let's just put it on Tiger. And even walking up the fairway, it was okay to watch him for 90 seconds. Every fairway, you were watching history. And that's what it feels like with Ohtani. Unfazed, always smiling. Game in Tokyo, a little bit of nerves? Nah, infectious personality. So he's already got a World Series title. He's already got 3 MVPs in the bag. And unlike the Angels, he's on a stacked team, so you can't pitch around him. And he's leading off, which will force, yes, people in Los Angeles to show up to Dodger games early. Yamamoto, the starter, got the W for the Dodgers, but he's now on an all-time roster. You can't pitch around him. And it's just, there's a magnetism, transformational. And again, they didn't have Mookie or Freddie Freeman. This is going to be a tough team to face because if you go to your bullpen and it's not buttoned up, you're talking about 5 potential batters that could be Hall of Famers. And Ohtani at bats, and this is what's great for baseball, is that, and we've said this, I grew up in a different time when there were the faces of baseball. It could be Johnny Bench, for a time, it could be Mark Fidrich. It could be a quirky personality. Baseball's been dying for a face of the sport. Now, Aaron Judge is a big deal, but baseball's more regional than national. So you may just be like the face of the league, Hudson River East, if you're Aaron Judge. But I do feel like we talk about NBA's always saying, well, you need a face of the league, and it can't be an international player. The minute Ohtani parked his car at Dodger Stadium, he was the face of Major League Baseball. Pacific Rim, Los Angeles, and beyond. Never forget, last year, Dodgers go to Yankee Stadium, all those blue hats. They lead Major League Baseball in road attendance. And being the face of a sport is something you cannot campaign for. Right? Like it's a little bit like a nickname. You can't give it to yourself. It's got to come naturally. And I'm thinking, oh, boy, he's going to be nervous in this series. This is going to be a lot for him. It wasn't. Infectious, unfazed, always smiling. Couple hits, couple runs. Dodgers 1-0, got good starting pitching, and here's the skipper after.
I don't think I've ever seen Shohei nervous. One thing I did notice is how emotional he got during the Japanese national anthem. That was really something that was very telling, how emotional he was. I thought it was a good baseball game. I thought offensively we controlled the strike zone, took our walks, got some timely hits, played good defense.
But it really is. We've talked about this a lot, about does the NBA have a face of the league? And I felt forever when I watched Michael Jordan. Jordan was good looking. He was the best dressed. There were the earrings. There was the smile. He had a gait, the way he walked. Michael walked cool. Like, he didn't have to ask for it. Like, Michael walked into the room. He was the alpha. And it didn't matter if Barkley, Magic, and Bird were in the room. Michael was the alpha. Around all these great Dodger players, it's just, Ohtani is different. Language barriers are irrelevant. Doesn't matter at all. The look, the size, it's so much bigger in person. And even around Major League Baseball players, you can see it. It's totally infectious. Dodgers 1-0. Going to be a lot of W's for this team. They play again tomorrow, and it'll be on FS1, actually.
MLB タイムズ。
There's some really good stories that have come out in the last few days. Evan Drellick, for example, who's a regular on this show, is out there. And Kratz, he said that MLB is going to make around $35 million from this event. I don't know what revenue that's including. I don't know if that has to do with the merch and all of that as well, or if that's just on the tickets and the game experience. But regardless, that's a good number for MLB. but it's nothing in the grand scheme of what they're preparing for. This is all coming from a story in an interview that was conducted with Commissioner Rob Manfred. He said, we're expecting billions with a B out of Japan in the long term, and that they want to play more games out there, more events in Japan and in Korea, which they did last year. Japan would like to host games like this every 3 years. And why the hell not? Especially right now when Japanese talent is better than it's ever been. We have 5 players involved in this series from Japan, and all of them are potential stars, right? We haven't seen Roki Sasaki yet. Yamamoto should be, over the course of his career, a top-end starter, a 1, a 2, whatever. Ohtani is Ohtani, right? And then on the other side, you had Imanaga looking really good. He is a number 1 starter, top 5 Cy Young guy from last year. And Seiya Suzuki is a good bat. I don't know if he's a star, but he's a very good bat. But that's 5 players that are involved in this series right now. And sure, Japanese baseball is huge. They love Major League Baseball, but they love it now because of the individual players that they can root for.
Because guys are making the jump from Japan to the big leagues a lot easier. It's not just one guy smattered in here and there. But to me, if they're looking to make billions from Japan, this relationship needs to be continually fostered, continually grown. If you watch the Dodgers telecast of the game, they talked a lot about the history of why some of the pitchers that come over wear the number 18, how Babe Ruth coming over to Japan and really helping, along with his Yankee teammates, helping introduce the game to Japanese people. And so there's a history there that Major League Baseball has extended, that has gone back in time. But I think it should be something that should be extended, because I don't think Major League Baseball does a good job of connecting with other countries. I've been to Japan twice, seen how much they love their game. And I think there's some things that we can take from their energy and the way that they support their players individually, no matter what team they're on. And we could bring this back to the States, and it would help grow the game here.
Yeah. Also business-wise, in terms of how much is being bought. In Drellick's story, it said, just outside the Tokyo Dome, fans streamed through a 31,000-foot MLB retail store even as it grew late on a Saturday, a few games before these regular season games were to start. They clocked an average of 1,100 transactions every hour across 140 registers. Is that good, Cam? Is that good biz?
It's pretty good. I think when you saw the streets, how flooded they were prior to the game, you could feel the excitement just through the screen. And then in the background, you see a ton of Yamamoto billboards and Shohei Ohtani billboards. So the atmosphere is electric. I think it's extremely warranted. And, the fun part for me, Scott, is there are more, guys coming that are highly touted, that have a lot of skill. So like Crassi said, I think they need to continue to do a good job of taking advantage of this relationship now, because you can see how much, the Japanese people love the game of baseball, and watching their guys come over and have success now and do it at a high level. It's fun to watch. Just watching that game, the atmosphere, the energy was electric to just see people on their feet look like the whole game. And that's what it's about, right? Capturing that international fan and continuing to expand the game of baseball. That's what we want to see.
大谷選手自身も緊張していたと語っていましたし、すごく特別な思いで試合に臨んでいたのかなと思いますね。そして MLB の顔は大谷選手で間違いないでしょう。こんなに大きく取り上げられるってことはないですからね。今日の試合も楽しみにして待ちましょう。本日もご視聴ありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、高評価よろしくお願いいたします。